Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, April 12th, Ishtar style at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 2020. The models are in, and they're looking Easterlicious. Heavy snow is predicted to fall across the upper tier of the U.S. through the end of April, including the Great Plains and the upper Midwest, looking the best. Powerhouse storm to supply heavy spring snow from the Rockies to the Great Lakes into early week. Keep calm. It's boom time. Not your typical winter snowstorm on the way for Easter, but more like a beaster. Don't take your Easter snowstorm at face value. It will not be the typical snowstorm we're used to. This is April snow. So it's going to be heavy, wet, and slushy. And it's going to be heavy. Minnesota weather, Easter Sunday, heavy snow could impact travel, even take down power lines. And they show a nice picture here from February, which has nothing to do with it. Snow and strong winds Sunday and Sunday night. Highest snow totals in southern Minnesota and Wisconsin. We'll check the models in a minute. Winter strikes back, up to 8 inches of snow expected in Iowa. And there's a tornado. We could be seeing a few of those. National Weather Service, a foot of snow possible Sunday in southeastern South Dakota. Say it ain't soda. Well, they just said it. And here I see something. Oh, my goodness. Forecast for Easter Sunday includes tornadoes and hail the size of tennis balls. That's almost, we're preparing to play cricket. But on a more serious note, we're talking serious weather. Easter Sunday forecast includes tornadoes, hail the size of tennis balls, and more. A large storm system that will bring severe weather to areas of Texas. The nexus of the Schmexis on Saturday will shift eastward, marring the Eastern holiday for many in the Southeast. Jackson is in the crosshairs today, and we do have a live Doppler, so we're going to look at that. This is your warnings for today, so heads up from Atlanta to Jackson. The storm's going to be moving east. It's currently sitting in East Texas. I'll show you the Doppler, and we have two fronts, one up here and one moving sideways. And on the other side of the front is record cold and snow mixing with record heat pushing up from the tropics. And you're going to get a big boom out of that. And this will not end on Monday, where severe storms will be possible from Washington, D.C. all the way down to Jacksonville. So the entire East Coast from D.C. south will be under warnings tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the current Doppler at 9:45 a.m. You could see here that one front is just moving out of East Texas, while this secondary front here is producing some heavy systems on the state line here near Arkansas and Mississippi. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this. This will be moving east into this zone where the warnings are issued. Now, according to the snowfall analysis, our forecast was correct. There was some heavy snow in Vermont, New Hampshire last night, as well as Maine and upstate New York. Montana picking up on the new system that's dumping south. Major storm to impact southern and central states. An outbreak of severe thunderstorms is expected from the lower Mississippi Valley into the southeast. The primary threats are strong tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding. To the north, heavy snow and blowing snow will advance from the Central Plains to the West Great Lakes. Take a look at this map. Does this look like mid-spring? Ding, ding. Winter storm watches and warnings in 10 states. Freeze warnings and watches issued in Texas, Oklahoma. Say it ain't so in Missouri. Flood warnings and watches through the Tennessee Valley. And take a look at this new color. I don't even know what that is. That's a high wind watch up in the Brown Town. So click on your counties for watches and warnings in your areas at weather.gov and become a Weather Ready Nation ambassador. Let's check the CMC model and break it down day by day. Here's your Sunday. By midnight, that snow will have pressed through South Dakota, Nebraska into Iowa, southern Minnesota. So there's your midnight. Monday morning, it's going to be moving hard in Wisconsin. Heavy snow Monday morning in the Upper Peninsula. And then it looks like New Mexico is going to pick up on it Monday through Tuesday, little moving into Texas. And then that's where the system, Tuesday, Wednesday, hits the east. Take a look at this. Take a look at these models. Oh, my goodness. Well, we're going to be dealing with the upper Midwest Easter blizzard for the next 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll switch over to the East Coast, the coast with the most, or the least snow, which is going to be picking it up in April. We have some amazing footage from an avalanche on Mount Rainier caught on camera. Justin Burrell was taking time-lapse photography, and he got this amazing shot. Now, this is just a little avalanche that's just going to move down through here. But if you were climbing below there, whoosh, pretty substantial. There's your avalanche of the day. Seismic update. We have had a moderate uptick in moderate upquakes worldwide, especially on the Ring of Fire. We have some enhanced activity in the Tonga region, as well as through Indonesia, up through Japan, and down through the West Coast. Yesterday, the U.S. was taking some interesting quakes intraplate. We had a 3.3 in Montana, some heavy Idaho activity up to the 4 mag range, and we reported on this 5.2 in Bodie, which is continuing to rumble. So increased seismic activity as we enter cycle 25. Krakatoa, continuous volcanic ash to 10,000. So some minor burps after the big 47,000 foot burp 2 days ago. Ancient pagan origins of Easter. Now, many of you, well, actually, Easter is a festival and a holiday celebrated by millions of people around the world who honor the resurrection of Jesus from the dead, described in the New Testament as having occurred 3 days after his crucifixion at Calvary. Now, this is not the only story of Easter. In fact, according to the New Unger's Bible Dictionary, the word Easter is of Saxon origin. Eastra, the goddess of spring, in whose honor sacrifices were offered about Passover time each year. By the 8th century, Anglo-Saxons had adopted the name to designate the celebration of Christ's resurrection. But there are other stories. The resurrection is a symbol of rebirth. The descent of Inanna. Easter as a celebration of the goddess of spring. Easter and its connection to the Passover, and more. If you want to know about the origins of Easter customs, I'll supply you a link to this article where you can come and do your own research. Easter has connections with humanity that run very deep. It is the symbol of the rebirth of spring, the rebirth of humanity, and the growth of food in abundance. Get back to your pagan roots. Dumped milk, smashed eggs, plowed vegetables. Food waste of the pandemic. In Wisconsin and Ohio, farmers are dumping thousands of gallons of fresh milk into lagoons and manure pits. An Idaho farmer has dug huge ditches to bury 1 million pounds of onions. And in South Florida, a region that supplies much of the eastern half of the U.S. with produce, tractors are crisscrossing bean and cabbage fields, plowing perfectly ripe vegetables directly back into the soil. That's the world you live in, idiocracy. Farmers are forced to let crops rot and throw away milk while food bank demands soar. Welcome to the dystopian future you've been promised. Now let's talk about wild edibles. How about the dandelion, the plant that keeps giving? Not only can it be the roots used as a coffee substitute, but the entire plant is edible, including the leaves, raw in salads, the flowers, raw, cooked. The whole plant can be cooked, tinctured, made into medicine, and on and on. It was the spring Easter celebration of dandelions that allowed the Native Americans in North America to flourish. You want to know more about dandelions? Well, you can read this article or do your own research, because dandelion is the plant that keeps giving. There's 1 billion pounds of it currently growing worldwide, and no one is touching it. Well, some of us are. If you want to know how to grow more vegetables and you don't have any money, I'm going to be supplying you some amazing resources, as I usually do. In this case, a PDF you've never seen, the 6th revised edition on how to grow vegetables, fruits, nuts, berries, grains, and other crops than you ever thought possible on less land than you can imagine. This 300-page PDF could change your life and could certainly save it. And for those of you living in cities, don't fret. Growing food in cities has been happening forever. In fact, before I left Philly, I helped start a nonprofit that was growing food on vacant lots. Growing Home was the name of the project, and we were able to acquire dozens of vacant lots through the kindness of neighbors. This same type of thing is happening now here in our state, where our ranch manager, Alien Allen, has supplied me information that in Canyon City, where his family is from, the locals there are banding together in blocks to grow food as a community on vacant lots. And the neighbors that aren't growing are donating their land to the project. So if you want to know about inspiring ways to grow food in cities, this 100-page report promoting the benefits of urban agriculture is for you. And then you can use the 300-page PDF on how to grow more vegetables than you ever thought possible. Sounds like a win-win. I hope you got something out of the video. Winter's not over, and it's the middle of spring, which should be a wake-up call for many of you. Not only that, we're on lockdown, and farmers across the nation are dumping food and tilling it underground, while the food bank's supplies dwindle. Let's get growing. It's up to each and every one of us to be responsible for our own actions. What are your actions going to be today? Proper prior planning prevents piss-poor performance, especially when you're being lied to and they're tilling perfectly good food under the ground. Be safe. Sign of the times. Let's get growing together.